Good day, this is your European Open briefing for Tuesday, 5th of July. My name is Michael Florentiades. I am the Chief Economist here at XM.com. Here's what you should know for today. There is a Bank of Australia held rates as expected, and there was a bit of a sell-off on the Aussie, although that came after quite a bit of reflection, it seems. We have major losses significant losses in sterling, while the yen has made important gains. We have some profit taking on risk assets. We saw quite powerful risk rally in the previous sessions. In terms of today's calendar, we have the UK Services PMI, US factory orders later on. We have the Bank of England Financial Stability Report and a speech by Mark Carney, an appearance by Mark Carney, the governor, on that. And later we have the New York Fed's William Dudley. Now, as we said, the RBA held its rate steady at 1.75%, as expected, I may add. In terms of the outlook, it appeared neutral. Relatively optimistic outlook about the Australian economy, but slightly a few more reference on the downside risks. Now, interestingly, the RBA does not think that Brexit is such a huge deal for the global economy. It's important for the UK, but for the rest of the world, it says it's not going to be discernible. So that's an interesting view. It contrasts a bit with what we have been hearing from many quarters about the UK and the Eurozone. So an interesting perspective from the RBA at least. Some bets are on for an interest rate cut in August, but we have to watch the country's inflation numbers. And there was some concern if the exchange rate gets a little too strong. There was a mention about the exchange rate. So we saw a spike up to 75.40 in terms of Aussie versus the US dollar, but it came back down to below 75 cents. Do remember that we had elections in Australia, which resulted in a hung parliament, so some political uncertainty there. So just keep that in mind. We have seen some volatility in the Aussie already this week during the first 2 days of the week. Now, on to sterling, we have some pressure on the pound as uncertainty tracks on. It made a 1 week low, cable made a 1 week low. Now it's around 0.5%, I would say, away from its lows of around 31.10. We do have the profit taking on risk. As we said, maybe that is weighing on the pound, and we do have the Conservative Party leadership contest, which is ongoing. I think there will be a vote today to start reducing the candidates, as the weakest candidates will be forced out. Mark Carney might give a few more clues today about the Bank of England's reaction to the whole affair. We'll talk about that in a second. We also had a 1 week low for dollar yen as it broke below 102. That is significant. It's not a very good sign for risk assets and for Japanese policymakers. And now we have to ask the question, will there be another attempt at 100? So that is looking closer right now. There was some relative stability, as you can see, at around 102.50 to 103. But this is significant that we've broken below 102 in dollar yen. So this signals a bit of turbulence in the markets. Now, in terms of calendar and economic releases, we had a slight miss in Australian retail sales for May. They came in at 0.2% versus 0.3%. Not such a big deal because of the RBA later. May, perhaps a bit more important, was the trade balance, which came in more negative than expected. It came at 2.21 billion compared to 1.5 billion. And Well, I would also like to point out that Caixin Services PMI in China, there was an improvement there to 52.7 from 51.2 the prior month. Now, during the European session, probably the most, of course, we get the Eurozone market composite final purchasing managers index, so that is going to be interesting to see whether it confirms the reading. And we will have the market services PMI for the UK. Please remember that we had a big miss in construction PMI yesterday for the UK, so another miss would suggest a slowdown. Of course, I would be a little cautious for the initial numbers right after Brexit. They probably have some shock value which is going to dissipate moving forward. But absolutely, we have to keep an eye on UK statistics and how they are going to be coming out after the major event of the Brexit referendum. Later on, we have factory orders in the US. They are expected to drop by minus 0.9%. Now, in terms of speeches and events, we are going to have Bank of England's Mark Carney on financial stability. He could announce the loosening of some rules concerning the banks or any other help that he could provide to the financial system. That will be looked very, very closely. But also close attention will also be given to William Dudley, the president of the New York Fed, later in the US session, for the Fed's reaction to Brexit, as well as recent data releases out of the US economy, and some reaction, maybe a few things about the interest rate outlook, what he sees is coming, and William Dudley's views together with Yellen's, Chair Yellen, and Stanley Fischer, who is the Vice President of the Fed. They are the three most important Fed speakers, so we should look out for what they are saying. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. Bye.